I guess SM just had a bunch of lemons. Hearts2Hearts is one of the few 5th gen groups I keep checking in on. They've had hit after hit, and their first mini album was personally one of my favorite releases last year. So after the monumental and viral success of Rude, the girls are back with their second mini album, Lemon Tang. Released on June 22nd, the mini consists of 6 songs and runs about 17 minutes. Let's see if after their latest taste of virality, Lemon Tang can measure up. Hey guys, welcome back to Summers with Wayde. Like I mentioned in the intro, today we're going to be talking about Hearts2Hearts' latest release. Jokes aside, it really does seem like there was a lot of citrus inspiration over at SM, cause first aespa and now them? What are the odds? I'm sure the joke and comparison has been beat to death, but here I am to beat it some more. Without further ado, let's give this mini album a taste. Pretty good. Lemon Tang. We open the album with our title track, Lemon Tang. Similarly to aespa's Lemonade, this song is vaguely centered around the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, aka making the best of a situation with what you got. However, unlike their label mates, Lemon Tang approaches this concept from a much more juvenile and lighthearted lens. The track is a bright, summery dance pop song about transforming life's sour moments into sweet ones when you're with others. The song's central idea is sung in the chorus, quote, "sweeter when we're together." Throughout the song, the narrator is singing to a sour or bitter person, trying to get them to soften up. The opening line sets up this idea by saying, quote, "got you scrunching one eye, that little sour thrill." As the story progresses, they ultimately come together and, quote, "blend into each other, we are lemonade," proving the narrator's point that if they roll together, they win it all. Sonically, the song is a refreshing summery blend of dance pop and house with a bit of bossa nova sprinkled in. The track plays with different sonic layers, creating a great contrast between its different sections. They layer beautiful synth work in the background of the pre-choruses, softening the instrumental before launching you into the bright punchy chorus. Closing out the song, we have an extra long chorus that builds its intensity thanks to gorgeous ad-libs and powerful harmonized high notes. Going into the song, I was a jumble of mixed feelings. On the one hand, I was really excited to receive another body of work from them because I thoroughly enjoyed Focus. At the same time, I saw a lot of people online complaining that the song wasn't up to par or it wasn't what they were expecting. After listening to it and sitting with it for a while, I honestly really do like the song, which is surprising for me. Ignoring my love for the group, the song is a bit all over the place. The production in different sections can be a bit busy when you look at the song on paper. The odds were stacked against it, at least in my book. There's chanting and slight genre shifts combined with a general tonal shift from what I expected, so it shouldn't work. But it does. It reminds me of early Red Velvet in the best way. And one thing the girls certainly have locked down are their harmonies and singing in unison. Their voices blend beautifully together in such a special way that makes them really stand out. So even with the chanting and all this song threw at me, I really enjoyed it. It's bright, summery, and perfect for the girls. I'm not really sure why, but this song, actually, the album as a whole just gives me this feeling of nostalgia where I can't help but look back at my teenage summers. If this had come out back then, it would have been on repeat all summer break. So for me, that's a huge compliment. 15 Love. Up next, we have 15 Love. I guess tennis is also very popular this summer. Just like our previous video topic Stacy's 2 Love, 15 Love also uses tennis scores as a metaphor for love. If you haven't seen that video or just don't know, in tennis a score of 0 is referred to as love. The title itself comes directly from the tennis score 15 Love, which means 15 to 0, signaling that the first point of the match has just been scored. At least that's what I found online. I do not know tennis, I'm so sorry. The song describes the back and forth flirting phase of a relationship as a high stakes tennis match. The first pre-chorus opens by saying, quote, "every day with you is a rally," capturing the fast-paced conversations and mixed signals shared between two people who are falling for each other. In the tennis analogy, the narrator's heart is the ball, saying, "Poppin', poppin', I'm throwing my bursting heart." The The song ends with both players finally understanding each other's feelings, with the narrator wishing they could stay just as they are right now on the court. Sonically, the track is sporty and bright, incorporating whistle noises throughout. To accentuate that sporty summertime energy, the track is layered with heavy guitar lines. These give the song a rhythmic element that cuts through the electronic bass and keeps the percussion feeling light. They also incorporate bright shimmering synthesizers that help create a nostalgic soundscape. The girls' delivery during the chorus consists mainly of singing in unison. Like I mentioned, this is like their bread and butter. They can do this with their eyes closed at this point. The bridge changes this up, opting for talk rap delivery in the first half, with the second half consisting of the girls playfully chanting or shouting out their feelings to their opponent. We close the song with one final chorus, complete with ad-libs, vocal runs, and a beautiful harmony between Yeon and Carmen. Similarly to our title track, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. Even though it shares some similarity to Stacey's 2 Love, I feel the song does a great job of showing that the feeling here is mutual, with both parties participating in the back and forth banter. I also really enjoyed how age appropriate it feels. It's fun and witty without ever feeling forced. The girls are singing about a crush, not the love of their life, and the lyrics showcase that sort of innocence. Again, shocker, I don't mind the chanting here. I think because of the sports theme combined with the literal whistle throughout, made the chanting not feel out of place. If you're on the court, you're bound to shout at your opponent or even the spectators, so for me, it was really tastefully done, and because the section was only like 3 lines, it didn't overstay its welcome. Another great song to add to their catalog. Baby Steps. Continuing on, we have Baby Steps, an introspective track about personal growth and the anxiety of facing new experiences. The original Korean title translates to being clumsy or filled with first times. The lyrics open stating that even though the reflection in the mirror is the same, it feels different. They note that the quote, unfamiliar alleys and the cats I'm seeing for the first time are a little scary. During the pre-chorus, they use a flower blooming as a metaphor for their future growth. Quote, what color flower will the spring be that will bloom at the end of these clumsy steps? The song explores the transition from a shy and cautious past self to someone willing to face challenges. It delivers a reassuring message that it's completely fine to stumble or fall as long as you keep moving forward. By the time the bridge comes, the members have become more sure of themselves. Quote, I'm starting to believe in myself little by little. Maybe more than the clumsy and cowardly me of the past. I've started to want to jump a little higher. In contrast to the energetic tracks that open the album, Baby Steps shifts the musical palette into liquid drum and bass. The instrumental balances a fast-ticking breakbeat rhythm with jazzy chords and lush vocal harmonies, giving the song a dreamy atmosphere. Personally, this song feels very J-pop to me. I can picture it being the opening of a cute slice of life anime. I think the vibe and the girls' delivery are what really lends itself to being as anime-esque. This comparison might also seem a little out of nowhere, but it kind of reminds me of Red Velvet's Bubble. Not rhythmically or thematically, but the way they're produced to me seems similar. I think it boils down to the singing in unison and the faster paced rhythm. Regardless, even though this is my least favorite track, I still view it as a strong entry for this mini album. Heart Emoji. Halfway through the album is Heart Emoji, a playful song about the nerve-wracking yet exciting overthinking that happens when you're texting your crush. The lyrics center around 2 people who frequently lock eyes in person but are too shy to say anything substantial. Instead, they resort to overanalyzing their online interactions. But it's not because they aren't trying. Quote, I hide the heart cookies I baked this morning and just keep biting my lips all day. This line captures the adorable frustration of wanting to express your affection but choosing to hold back. The members sing about agonizing over whether a text response means something deeper, with the main hook of the song being maybe it's a sign, showing us that they're overanalyzing every little thing this person does. The climax of the song revolves around building up the courage to finally hit send on a pink heart emoji to break the ice and make their feelings official. They want this person to quote, stop pretending not to know even though you do, maybe you're just too blind to see. Sonically, the track is a bouncy R&B infused synth pop arrangement. The song is anchored by a rhythmic bass line that provides a playful groove. Layered over the bass are bright sparkling synthesizer chords and twinkling accents. These melodic glassy synths simulate digital sounds, mimicking that quote ticklish feeling of sending a text and waiting for a response. It should come as no surprise that this one's my favorite. I think I've shared in the past, I love synth pop. This truly feels tailor-made for me. I find the instrumental is so interesting, there's just so many different accents that add to that glittery feeling. Hands down, my favorite part of the song is the repeated "maybe it's a sign" section. It genuinely makes me levitate. If I could offer a slight critique, which is much more of a personal preference rather than anything the song lacks per se, but I would have loved if they harmonized and maybe even went higher during that "maybe it's a sign" section. Just imagine it getting progressively higher as the members harmonized instead of singing in unison. Wow, I think that would have been the cherry on top, but even as is, it's great. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a fan favorite, so I definitely see why. Secret Recipe. Our last new song is Secret Recipe, a bright youthful track that uses baking terminology as an extended metaphor for concocting the perfect magical romance. The lyrics open with the hook, "Girls got a secret recipe," sprinkling fantasy here and there, "don't let it overflow, keep stirring," framing attraction as a meticulous potion or dessert being prepared. In the pre-chorus, the members list the whimsical ingredients needed to build their ideal relationship. They sing about adding a little bit of sweetness, a pinch of wishes, a bunch of kisses, 1 spoonful of sincerity, no, 2 spoons, and wrapping it all up with a handful of moonlight. With this, the girls reject low-effort approaches to love, with lyrics emphasizing that they, quote, "don't handle clumsy recipes." Instead, they focus on finding the perfect timing to let a strong, genuine connection cook. We gotta let them cook, guys! Why would I say that? During the bridge, they chant "what we want, we get" as the final step of their incantation to fully achieve their desired love. Sonically, the track's backbone are deep rolling 808 bass hits with additional trap elements. This gives the song its constant hypnotic rhythm. To really sell the whimsical baking a spell lyrical theme, the background features shimmering synth pads and atmospheric electronic chords. These elements fill out the arrangement, making it feel smooth and cohesive. The bulk of the song relies on heavy vocal layering and singing in unison, really driving the magical spell vibe. When I first heard the song, that initially threw me off a bit. While I love a group who can blend vocally, it felt a little off to me. But as I kept listening to write this, I actually think it being off kilter is part of what sells the idea. It's kind of creepy with how much they sing in unison, which is perfect for a sort of bakery witch concept. The whole song feels like a bit of a commercial or jingle to me, which is also fitting cause it got stuck in my head. I know I say that a lot about songs, but this one got stuck in a way that almost became annoying. Like a commercial you see when you're younger that no matter how much time passes, you can still recite it word for word years later. I can think of quite a few off the top of my head, but I think the bright chord progression and delivery found a way to bypass my usual disassociation when watching ad-like content and settle into my brain for the time being. And that's not a bad place to be. I've been thinking a lot about baked goods and summer since I want to do a summer bake sale, and this song is low-key motivating me during my planning. I say, this flavor was brought to you by Hearts2Hearts all-new cake mix, more often than I'd like to admit. But I'm getting sidetracked. If I were to give these songs individual awards, this one would win biggest grower for sure. Rude. Closing out the album, we have a song that needs no introduction. Our girls are too rude. The song is a sassy anthem about unapologetically embracing your individuality and ignoring critics who label you as rude just for being yourself. The song focuses on breaking away from traditional rigid social norms. The song opens with a muffled rendition of the chorus saying, "Rude, this and that, no rule, the bold attitude, you can't make me act right," highlighting a refusal to compromise their identity just to blend in. The members sing about choosing freedom over being polite but miserable, declaring that anything normal gets boring. They push back against anyone criticizing or judging them, saying, quote, "To those looks I say, hate me. No matter what they say can't change me," reaffirming that they are perfect just the way they are because when I'm myself, I shine the brightest. And even though being yourself shouldn't be radical or crazy, to some it's just flat out unfathomable. Confidence makes insecure people uncomfortable, and they highlight this in the bridge. Everything from the way they talk to the looks on their faces, there's, quote, jealous eyes everywhere. Unfortunately, it's also a reality that boys feel threatened by this inner confidence, and nothing shuts this down better than the oh so viral Stellaverse. You know what he said to me? He was like, "You're so rude." And I was like, boy, does it look like I could care? I couldn't even care less. If I had a penny for every time I said this line, I would be a very wealthy man. But in all seriousness, this line could have easily gone down the cringy, unnecessary English line trope that I feel a lot of K-pop songs suffer from. But our girl Stella really did her big one here. Her delivery and the lyrics themselves are cheeky enough to make them replayable, and most importantly quotable, without ever feeling overdone. Add to that the song's bright and colorful instrumental, and you've got a hit. To me, this is the best song on the album by a landslide, and I know I'm not the only one who thinks so. I could do a whole discussion on organic success versus manufactured virality, and I might actually cover that if you guys are interested. But this song was literally everywhere. Before, I thought Style was the Hearts2Hearts song, but this one takes the cake. It makes total sense why they would include it on the album from a business standpoint, but also sonically. I feel it works really well accompanied by more overtly summery songs. Put that all together, you get the recipe for a hit. Truly, even though this mini album was great, I fear it'll get overshadowed by the success of this song. Which I also feel works in its favor because it allowed them to experiment a little with their title track, for better or worse, because by simply attaching this song to the project, it was bound to be successful. And I was right. This album has sold over 600,000 copies so far. That's huge. I hope they continue being rude because so far it seems to be really working for them. Final album thoughts. Overall, I think Hearts2Hearts delivered a really strong follow-up to Focus. Going into this album, I was honestly a little nervous. There was so much discussion online about Lemon Tang not living up to expectations that I started wondering if I had set the bar too high after their last mini. But after spending time with these songs, I found myself enjoying the project far more than I expected. I was really surprised by how nostalgic this mini album feels. Even though it's brand new, almost every song reminds me of summer when I was younger. There's this carefree innocence running throughout the project that feels increasingly rare in K-pop right now. Whether it's crushing on someone through text messages or literally baking the perfect romance, these songs embrace being young without trying to grow up too quickly, something that I'm evidently really passionate about. That sense of youthful optimism gives the entire album a really distinct identity. I also have to give the members their flowers because I think their biggest strength continues to be their voices. Throughout this review, I've probably mentioned harmonies and singing in unison far more than I could count, but that's because it's what makes Hearts2Hearts sound like Hearts2Hearts. Their vocal blend is incredibly unique, and even on songs where the production throws a lot at you, their voices always manage to pull everything together. It's a quality that reminds me of early Red Velvet in the best possible way, and it's quickly becoming the group's signature. That's not to say every choice on the album worked immediately for me. There are moments with chanting, busier production, and unexpected genre shifts that, on paper, sound like things I wouldn't enjoy. Yet somehow, they make them work. In fact, several of the songs that initially had me the most skeptical ended up becoming some of my favorites after a few listens. I think that's a testament to how thoughtfully this project was put together. And then there's Rude. I completely understand why SM included it here. From a business perspective, it was a no-brainer, and after seeing just how massive that song became, it's hard to argue with the decision. Part of me does wonder if its success will overshadow the new songs because I genuinely think tracks like Heart Emoji, 15 Love, and even Lemon Tang deserve more attention. At the same time, having such a massive hit attached to the mini album gave the group room to take a few more creative risks with the title track, and I think that ultimately benefited the project. At the end of the day, this mini album left me feeling excited about Hearts2Hearts' future. They're establishing an identity that feels youthful, nostalgic, vocally driven, and just a little quirky. Hearts2Hearts are beginning to carve out a lane that feels distinctly their own in a landscape where so many groups are chasing the same trends. If this is only their second mini album, I can't wait to see what their first full album sounds like, because if they continue refining this sound while holding on to the charm that makes them so unique, I think they have the potential to become another one of SM's strongest girl groups. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so very much for watching and also for being patient with me. Last week was honestly a little crazy for me, but we made it through. I'm planning on posting on my community tab teasing this video, so hopefully it was to your liking. I also wanted to ask, Are there any specific video topics you guys would like me to discuss during Summers with Wayde? It can be an album, a general question, or anything in between. At 3 videos a week, I'm burning through topics and albums like my skin at the beach, so any suggestions are welcome. I'm probably gonna make a post asking for topics later, and then I'll make a poll so we can choose them together. But now, officially, thank you guys so very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a video. Tell me in the comments down below, did you like this mini album? What was your favorite song, and are you excited for the group's future? Genuinely, I feel it's so bright and I can't wait to see what they put out next. Remember that I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye! Jokes aside, this is pretty good. I had never had the lemon tang before. Yeah, it's just like a lemonade, you know? You know, lemonade? I need help. I'm so sorry, yo.